My name is Ava Thompson. I'm 27 years old. And 3 years ago, my own sister tried to erase me from my family's life. If you think betrayal only comes from enemies, you're wrong. Sometimes it comes from the person who knows your childhood secrets, the one who shared your bedroom, the one who smiled at you while quietly sharpening the knife. I was always the sensitive one. That's what my parents called me. My older sister, Lauren, she was the golden child. Straight A's, debate captain, engagement photos by 25. The kind of daughter who made my mom brag at church. I was the creative one. I painted, I wrote, I freelanced online and built my own marketing agency from my tiny apartment in Chicago. It wasn't glamorous at first. I ate ramen more nights than I can count. But by 26, I had corporate clients and contracts worth more than Lauren's fiancé's yearly salary. And that's when everything changed. It started with a family dinner. Lauren had just announced her engagement to Daniel, clean-cut, finance guy, family money. My parents were glowing. My mom cried. My dad shook his hand like he'd just secured a business merger. Then Lauren smiled at me. "Oh, Ava," she said sweetly, swirling her wine. "Maybe you can help with the wedding invitations. You're good with arts and crafts." The table laughed. Arts and crafts. I owned a 6-figure branding agency. I smiled politely. I've learned to swallow humiliation like medicine. Bitter, but survivable. But that night, something else happened. Daniel asked me about my business. Real questions. Interested questions. He followed my agency page on Instagram before dessert was served. Lauren noticed, and from that moment on, I became her competition. Over the next few months, small things began happening. Clients I'd pitched to suddenly backed out. An anonymous email was sent to one of my biggest contracts claiming I plagiarized work. A fake Yelp review accused me of scamming small businesses. I brushed it off as haters. That's what success attracts, right? Until the night my website crashed. Completely wiped. 3 years of portfolio work, gone. I remember staring at the blank screen at 2:17 a.m., my chest tight, my fingers shaking. It felt personal. Too personal. And then my phone buzzed. A text from Lauren. "Crazy how fragile online businesses are. You should have chosen a real career." My blood went cold. No one knew my site had crashed yet. No one except whoever did it. I didn't respond. I didn't accuse her. I didn't cry. Instead, I got quiet. You see, Lauren underestimated one thing about me. I might be the sensitive one, but sensitive people observe. We notice patterns. We connect dots. And I started connecting them. I hired a cybersecurity consultant. Quietly. Paid in cash. Within 48 hours, we traced the breach. The IP address wasn't random. It came from a downtown office building. The same building where Daniel worked. And guess who had access to his laptop whenever she visited? Lauren. But here's the twist. I didn't confront her. I didn't tell my parents. I didn't expose her immediately. Because revenge isn't loud. It's patient. Instead, I rebuilt my website. Better than before. Stronger security. Encrypted backups. I rebranded entirely under a new parent company name that wasn't linked publicly to me. Then I did something smarter. I reached out to Daniel. Not emotionally, not dramatically, professionally. I pitched his firm a marketing overhaul proposal under my new company name. He had no idea it was mine. The branding was different. The logo was different. The contact email was corporate. He loved it. Within 2 weeks, I had a signed contract with his company, worth $240,000 annually. Lauren found out at Sunday dinner. Daniel was praising this brilliant agency his firm just hired. "She's a genius," he said. "Honestly, I've never seen strategy like this." Lauren smiled tightly. "What's the company called?" He said the name. I watched her face carefully. No recognition. Good. 3 months later, Daniel was working closely with me. Still unaware I was the CEO behind the scenes. All communication went through virtual meetings. My camera was always off due to bandwidth. My voice altered slightly through software. Professional, polished, untouchable. And then came the final piece. Through our contract, I gained access to internal performance metrics. And I noticed something interesting. Daniel wasn't as financially brilliant as everyone thought. He had made several risky decisions that my strategies were now quietly fixing. If my company withdrew support, his quarterly numbers would crash. Hard. So I waited, because Lauren had planned her wedding for October. And October was also the end of Q3 reporting. The same week as her rehearsal dinner, I scheduled a contract renegotiation meeting. And this time, camera on. And this is the part where my sister finally realized who she had been playing with. The rehearsal dinner was on a Thursday night. Elegant rooftop restaurant, string lights, white roses everywhere. Lauren looked radiant in a silk dress that probably cost more than my first car. I arrived alone. She barely acknowledged me. Just a quick air kiss and a whisper in my ear. "Try not to embarrass yourself tonight." I smiled. "Oh, I won't." Earlier that afternoon, at exactly 3 p.m., Daniel had logged into our scheduled contract renegotiation meeting. He expected the same thing he'd seen for months. Black screen, confident voice, brilliant strategy. Instead, the camera flicked on. And there I was, clear, calm, smiling. For 3 full seconds, he didn't blink. "Ava?" he said slowly. What is this?" "This," I replied, folding my hands on the desk, "is your marketing agency." Silence. You could see the color drain from his face. "I don't understand," he muttered. "I think you do," I said softly. "You hired my company. You praised my strategy. You've trusted my projections for months. And now, you know exactly who built them." He leaned back, stunned. "Lauren said—" "I know what Lauren said," I interrupted gently. "She also hacked my original website, sent false claims to my clients, tried to destroy my business." His expression shifted from confusion to disbelief. "That's impossible." I slid a file across the desk toward the camera. IP logs, security reports, timestamps, all traced back to your office network. And guess who was visiting you the night my site was wiped? His jaw tightened. "You're lying." "No," I said evenly. "But she did." I didn't threaten him. I didn't yell. I simply continued. "Your Q3 projections are heavily dependent on my team's optimization system. If my company pulls out today, your performance metrics drop by 37%. He stared at me like he was seeing me for the first time. "You wouldn't," he whispered. I tilted my head. Wouldn't I? Back at the rehearsal dinner, I watched Lauren laughing with her bridesmaids, completely unaware that her fiancé had just discovered the truth about both his company and her. My phone buzzed. "Daniel, we need to talk, now." I excused myself from the table. Lauren rolled her eyes dramatically. "Work emergency?" she teased loudly. "Some of us have real lives." I stepped into the hallway and answered the call. Daniel's voice was shaking. "Is it true?" "Yes." "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" "Because," I said calmly, "I needed you to see my value without her voice in your ear." Silence. "And now?" he asked. "Now," I replied, "you have a decision to make." I laid it out clearly. My company keeps the contract, with a 20% rate increase. He conducts a full internal audit and cooperates if legal action is pursued. Absolute transparency going forward. And if I refuse, then I walk. And your Q3 report explains to your board why revenue collapsed weeks before your wedding. He exhaled slowly. "You're ruthless." "No," I said quietly. "I'm prepared." 5 minutes later, he agreed. Contract amended. signed digitally. And then came the part I didn't expect. "Ava," he said carefully. "Did Lauren really do all that?" "Yes." He went silent again. "I need to confront her." "That's your choice," I said. "But understand something. I'm not doing this to ruin your life. I'm protecting mine." When I returned to the rooftop, Lauren was mid-toast. "To new beginnings," she said brightly. Our eyes locked across the room. Her smile faltered. She could see something had changed. Daniel arrived 20 minutes later. He didn't look at her the same way. No warmth, no pride. Just questions. She noticed immediately. "What's wrong?" she whispered sharply to him. "We need to talk," he replied. "Not now. Not dramatically. Just controlled." Lauren's eyes darted to me, and for the first time in our lives, she looked unsure. Dinner ended awkwardly. Conversations felt strained. Daniel left early, saying he had business to handle. Lauren cornered me near the elevators. "What did you do?" she hissed. I met her gaze calmly. "I built something you couldn't destroy." Her expression flickered between anger and fear. "You think you've won?" I stepped closer, lowering my voice. "No, Lauren. I think you underestimated me." The next morning I woke up to 17 missed calls. From my mother, from Lauren, from Daniel. Apparently Daniel had confronted her that night. She denied everything at first, until he showed her the IP report. And then, she blamed me. "She set me up!" she screamed, according to Daniel. Classic. But here's what Lauren didn't realize. When you try to bury someone, you better make sure they don't grow roots in the dark. Because I didn't just survive what she did. I multiplied. The wedding was 2 days away. And whether it would still happen was entirely up to Daniel. But trust me, the real revenge, it wasn't even finished yet. And this is where everything finally burned. The wedding was scheduled for Saturday at 4 p.m. By Friday morning, the entire family group chat was silent. That's how you know something is wrong. No heart emojis, no dress photos, no "can't wait" messages. Just silence. At 9:12 a.m., my mother called me. "Ava," she said, her voice tight. "What did you do to your sister?" Notice the wording. Not what happened. Not is it true. What did you do? I leaned back in my chair and stared out the window of my apartment. "I didn't do anything," I said calmly. I responded. She didn't like that answer. Apparently, Daniel had confronted Lauren again that morning. Not yelling, not dramatic, just facts. He asked her about the hacked website, the fake reviews, the emails sent from his office network. At first she cried. Then she blamed stress. Then she blamed me. But Daniel had something she didn't expect. He had requested IT logs from his company overnight. The access times matched perfectly with Lauren's visits. There was no spinning it. By noon, Daniel had called off the wedding. Just like that. 300 guests, non-refundable venue, custom gown, gone. And for the first time in our lives, Lauren wasn't the golden child. She was the liability. By 2 p.m., my dad called. His voice wasn't angry, it was disappointed. "Is it true?" he asked quietly. "Yes." He sighed, long, heavy. "You could have come to us." I almost laughed. "Would you have believed me?" Silence answered for him. That night, instead of attending a rehearsal dinner, my family sat in their living room while Lauren cried upstairs. I wasn't invited, but I didn't need to be. Because for once, the truth was louder than her performance. The next week was chaos. Daniel's company publicly credited my agency for their Q3 turnaround. My contract expanded, referrals poured in, and suddenly, I wasn't arts and crafts anymore. I was the daughter with the stable empire. My parents visited my office for the first time. Glass walls, team of 12, awards framed on the wall. My mom looked around like she was seeing a stranger. You built all this? She whispered. Yes, I said simply. Not to impress her, just to state a fact. As for Lauren, she tried to salvage her image, posted vague quotes online about toxic people, claimed Daniel was controlling, told extended family I sabotaged her happiness. But there's something about documented proof. It doesn't argue. It doesn't scream. It just exists. Eventually, the whispers stopped defending her and started questioning her. Months passed. Lauren moved out of state. Fresh start, she told everyone. Daniel sent me a formal apology, professional, sincere. We never became friends, but we respected each other. And me? I learned something powerful. Revenge isn't about humiliation. It's about correction. I didn't ruin Lauren's life. She did that the moment she decided my success threatened her. I simply refused to stay small so she could feel big. Last Thanksgiving, my entire family gathered again. Same dining table, same crystal glasses. But this time, when business came up, my dad turned to me. Ava, tell us about the expansion. No sarcasm, no mockery, just pride. Lauren didn't attend, and I didn't ask about her, because I don't compete with ghosts anymore. I built something she couldn't hack. Confidence. And here's the truth no one talks about. The sensitive girls, we don't explode. We evolve. And when we finally stop apologizing for existing, we don't just win. We redefine the game.